Hey, this is Jordan Rudess of Dream Theater, and you're listening to RocklandWorldRadio.com.
Dawn of the day that you and I will walk hand in hand. When the walls begin to sway, that will be when my soul will lay wide open in the freedom of this land. When the walls begin to sway, I will sing with you on high. When the walls begin to sway, I will feel justified, and I will again pray. When the walls sway, when the walls begin to sway, that will be the dawn of the day that you and I will walk hand in hand. When the walls begin to sway, that will be when my soul will lay wide open in the freedom of this land. When the walls begin to sway, I will sing with you on high. When the walls begin to sway, I will feel justified, and I will again pray. When the walls sway, justified, and I will again pray. When the walls sway, when the walls sway, when the walls sway, when the walls sway.
Hello, hello. And that was Joe Dorso and Stone Caravan Band right here on Rockland World Radio with a song called Sway off of his newly minted CD titled Sway. Welcome, Joe.
Good to see you as always, Richard.
Good to see you too.
Usually I'm bumping into you on the sidewalks of our fine town.
So we figured we'd let the rest of the world in on some of the things we talk about. And Joe always has lots to talk about. Not only is he a fantastic vintage, in a good way, singing, and you can hear by his vocal performance there with the great Rita Harvey.
Mm-hmm. She did an unbelievably great job on that song.
Isn't that something?
I mean, it was funny because when we were doing that, I said, I was looking for like an Emmylou Harris vibe on it. And it's, when you say that to someone who has played the lead of Christine Daae in Phantom of the Opera. It's like, what a great stretch. And then she could pull it off.
Yeah. I mean, I said, that's Rita?
Yeah.
And of course it was.
Yeah.
But we're used to having her, hearing her voice in
Shattering
Broadway.
Glass, you know, she's amazing.
She did a great performance really here at the theater with some of her
That's
show
right,
tunes
yes.
and some original music with her own band, which was quite enjoyable. Once again, Joe Dorso, Stone Caravan, Sway, the CD, and you can get that, I'm sure, at Joe's website, which is joedorso.com.
Yeah, actually, jdcaravan.com.
Right, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's on iTunes. all
iTunes,
that
CD
good stuff.
Baby,
So
Spotify.
we'll be hearing another one before we leave you today. One of the things Joe and I have been discussing, or Joe has just told me about, besides the fact that, let me wish Joe a happy birthday on air. Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you, Richard.
That's really how this started. I had
half
wished Joe a
century.
happy birthday, and then he had mentioned the Rockland-Bergen Music Festival, the first annual Rockland-Bergen Music Festival. I like the way Rockland got top billing.
Yes.
We are in Rockland.
Or
and
it comes
such a
before
cool
B
name.
in the alphabet, right?
Yes, it does, especially when you're putting the graphics together. This Sunday, June 29th, at the German Masonic Park, which is in Tappan, New York, 120 Western Highway. There's an amazing website that we'll show you in just a little bit that has all this information on it, how to get there. It's an enormous task that Joe is not one of these guys that just writes songs and performs all over the world. In between that, he is spinning up creative events and just doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And this is one of those most recent enormous projects. And if you look at the list of performers on this event, which is an outdoor event, we have Willie Nile, Marshall Crenshaw, Jesse Mallon, James Maddock, Tom Chapin, John Eddy, and of course Joe Dorso in the Stone Caravan, and also Mick Mule on the Glow stage. I don't know what this is about. Joe's going to tell us. And then on the Seeger stage, I'm presuming for Pete Seeger,
Yes.
the Levins, Tim O'Donoghue, who we just spoke to on Facebook. If you're out there, Tim, see you Sunday. Arlen Bennett, another great. Chris Brown, Kevin Cronin, Rob Dye, Bobby Mahoney, Joe Rapola, Peter Elkus, Anthony D'Amato, Over the Line, George Romano, Bobby de Blasio, and Alice Leone.
From Congress. Actually, on Peter Elkus, we just had to make a change. Peter's a dear friend of ours from Toronto who does Light of Day Canada with us, and he had some unforeseen circumstances, so he just let me know yesterday that he can't be joining us at the same time as Johnny Markowski from Stir Fried and New Riders of the Purple Sage, an old friend of mine, just let me know, because I talked to him months ago about being part of this, and he couldn't be because of his scheduling. And due to unforeseen circumstances, he will be in town, so he took Peter's slot. So within about 7 minutes that happened, yes, I was like, you got to be kidding me. That was only... Sometimes the stars align.
On your side, for sure. And speaking about months prior, book, when did this actually start? You had a concept. You love performing, and you have put on events, one of which in the last several years has been the Songwriters River
Right,
by
Songwriters
the River.
by the River, which then morphed into Songwriters by the Sea in Asbury Park.
Right. But when did the concept for the Rockland-Bergen Music Festival take place?
Probably about 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I just always thought that our area here has been underserved when it comes to festivals. I mean, we certainly have across the river, Clearwater, which was tremendous. I've been up to the Newport Folk Festival. But Rockland and Bergen, we have all these sometimes these great little gatherings, but not something a little bit that packs a bigger punch.
Right.
And it's hard to do it. There's a lot of logistics. It's financial. It's all those different things.
The town itself has to approve all of this.
Well, it's not even the town. That park is owned by the Masons. It's the German Masonic Park. That's a privately owned park. So,
but does that make it easier or more difficult?
No, I think I yes and no. I think you sit down, you talk, like gentlemen, try and figure out the right way to do something, and and again, it's in the neighborhoods. So they want to know safety issues and volume issues. It's nice that they care about the neighbors there. And I grew up in that town, so I certainly don't want to have a bad name in the town I grew up in.
You want everyone to come and have a good
Right,
time, and you've
right.
put together quite a roster of talent here. Tell me about the two stages.
Okay, so
and the area, the location
Yeah.
must be rather large.
Well, originally when I had this, my first blueprint of this was 4 stages, and then I realized I was crazy, so I went down to 3, and I realized I was still crazy, so I went down to 2 stages. So when you walk into the park, In the food court area will be the Seeger stage, which is mostly like kind of a solo acoustic, duo acoustic stage. And those speakers kind of point in one way where they don't interfere. And if you walk out, and then there's a soccer field behind these little buildings, these little Masonic lodges that are owned by all the different Masons throughout the state. There'll be a second stage there, and those speakers point out towards the railroad track center of town of Tappan, but that's a ways off. So the two stages will be going simultaneously, but the speakers are never pointed at each other, so people could sit there and have some food and beverage and enjoy the acoustic stage,
right,
or go out on the main field. And we're allowing blankets and beach chairs and umbrellas and even pop-up tents because it's a large field.
And it's also an all-day event.
Yes, it's 11 to 7.
11 to 7, get there at 10 o'clock, get a nice, even earlier.
Yeah. 10 o'clock is actually...
I'm not going to say camp out, but it's going to be a nice night the night before.
I think the parking lot will start at 10, gates open at 11, music starts at 11:30 on the acoustic stage, and then Tom Chapin will kick it off on the glow stage at noon.
I wonder if that's a call for us. Hold on.
It's a noise. It's the cops that tell me to be quiet already.
Rockland World Radio. No, it's not one of...
Good. It wasn't a noise ordinance.
Once in a while, we get someone trying to sell our, get us a better deal on gas and utilities, not realizing we're the broadcast station. They don't generally want to come on air with us. So, all right, so 2 stages, and this is done because it's outside, and you realize that the outside space is vast, and if you point speakers one way, it'll go that way, and the other speakers the other way, which creates an enormous event. So there's always something going on. Does it go into the evening? It ends at 11:30. So
no, 7:15. 11:30 in the morning.
AM,
and
ends at 7:30. So it's during light hours.
Maybe as we, there's the 2 issues there, at least for the first year, was in future years, if we want to go later into the night, we could, but then you have to bring in some lighting,
right,
which is obviously when you're putting on a festival, that's an expense. And also, I think by knocking off a little bit earlier, you have less noise calls from neighbors, and then because it's a daytime. And then some of my greatest experiences have been at daytime festivals. I play Summerfest every year in Milwaukee, though it does go into the evening. But the Newport Folk Festival, that knocks off about 7 o'clock every night.
It gives a great opportunity for families to come out and experience music together.
That's what
it's really family friendly.
And we have
you could not
12
ask
and
for
under
a closer,
free.
large music event to be closer to home here in Tappan. Which is very close to the border.
Right.
It's a great location.
I currently live in Bergen. I grew up living in Rockland, and I've always spent my whole life on the 2 borders of New York and New Jersey. And and even musically, there's still a record I will put out one day. There's 2 great signs that says "Last Exit in New Jersey" and "Last Exit in New York" right across the street from each other, and I want to do a front cover and a back cover. Still thinking in covers, but it's about growing up on the area. So my New York singer-songwriter self is the Greenwich Village acoustic guy. I've always been drawn to that whole idea, and then my Jersey self, certainly the Springsteen, Southside Johnny Little Stevens sound of Asbury Park. So I've always been caught in between the 2. So it made sense that this festival is on the border of those 2 states.
Yeah, which also adds to the enormity, the massiveness, where you're tying together 2 counties. It's 2 counties of, once again, enormous talent. Perhaps we can zoom into this laptop, which is off now, so don't zoom in yet. I'll pull this up so you can see it in front of you. So you've been thinking about this for 15 years. But when did you make the first phone call?
So
when did Willie Nile, who I love, and I got to meet Willie at the Hard Rock when we were there last year, and you had played. It was a Light of Day concert, and Willie's such a great, open, friendly guy, and what a great performer.
He's tremendous.
He puts everything into it. No wonder he's so because he's just shouting and we love his songs.
Well, as I've been saying, the last kick in the rear to get me moving on this whole thing was the passing of Pete Seeger. I had been very fortunate to work with Pete a few times over the year through Y Hunger events, and thank you for being a great supporter over the years of Y. Richard and the show has always been there for us as we've raised money and awareness over the years.
Oh, we love marathons, and that's one of our few marathons that we partake in. But we love it each year to just go 24 hours.
And Pete, someone had said, after Pete had passed, like, who's going to carry that torch? And someone came back with a great line, said, no one, because he lit so many thousands of candles that there doesn't need to be
There's
one
a fire.
torch. There's tons of, and I thought that was a great
Just
line.
keep carrying the gasoline.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was kind of I named one stage in honor of Pete, and the other stage is in honor of my mom who passed a while ago, and her name was Gloria. So Glow is kind of a nickname there. So there I've got one with a personal. One has my family, one's got my music, and those are the two things that have always been my driving forces over the years. So. Yeah, and it's really great because there's a lot of great singer-songwriters in this area, and also that I've been working with Y and Light of Day, so I was able to get, just make the phone calls and really not, I think I only had to deal with one agent or one manager out of 22 acts, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of personal relationships. I think I've played on bills with everyone but one person out of these 22 over the years. So it is kind of like old home week a little bit. But there are some young artists on the bill. There's Bobby Mahoney, who's probably all of 19 or 20, who's got a great rockin' band at the Jersey Shore now. And Anthony D'Amato just got signed to New West Records, which is the same label as Steve Earle and a few other folks. And I've known Anthony since he's 15. I think he's 24 now. Fantastic songwriter. So there's a lot of folks here that, and then some certain veterans. As we were joking, since this is my also my 50th birthday bash, that I should have gotten AARP to sponsor this.
Next year.
Next year, right? When I
Next year.
turn 50 again. So, but there's just some really great quality songwriters. On the Glow stage, I mean, I spent a early part of my career being the opening act for a lot of these folks, and we became friends. They're just good people who are talented. And,
Yeah, and they've stuck around, and they've also done a lot of the other benefit concerts that you're involved with, including Light of Day, but also the Hungathon, .org. What else? You got the songwriter thing. We have the Volunteer Fire Association of Japan, the Orangetown Auxiliary Police, Rockland County Police Widows and Orphans Fund. We have Homes for Heroes, Why Hunger. Also, the Peak is involved, and WFUV. You can hear some stuff.
No, what's not on here, though, is Love, Hope, and Strength is now involved. I became friendly over the last 5 years with Mike Peters from The Alarm, and he does the Light of Day Whale Show, and we're always there every December when we're there. And Mike started an organization called Love, Hope, and Strength. He's a cancer survivor, and basically what they do is bone marrow registration, and they've been incredibly successful. So they're going to be setting up a booth. And, and that's definitely, some of my Harry Chapin influence. I know that, whenever I have a gathering of people, I hate to waste the opportunity and not have people find out about different things. So when people walk in, there'll be booths set up for Love, Hope, and Strength, Why Hunger, Light of Day, the Dan Sullivan Foundation, and Homes for Heroes. The 5 of them will have booths set up.
You make a community out of these organizations and bring them together, and these are community of local people, organizations doing good things. You can't watch news and say, "Oh, what a terrible world," and then watch a movie, go to sleep, and go through the cycle over and over for year after year. These organizations have actually been doing things out front. Why Hunger has been around since 75.
Bill Ayers and Harry started in 75.
So these organizations have been around for decades, some of them, and they've been doing great things. And this is a wonderful music, and it's already Thursday here today. It's going to be great on Sunday, 80 degrees, sunshine.
No humidity.
The musicians will like that too. And there'll be, so you bring your paper printed ticket to the event. You go to rocklandmusicfestival.com to see all of this new information. You don't have to go here now, but go to rocklandmusicfestival.com to see all these great acts.
And the event, and what I worked, and
tickets.
The thing I was very proud about, and I say that very humbly, that I worked really hard. And I want to thank all the musicians for working hard with me on pricing. Everyone has expenses to, band members and costs of getting there. We have 22 artists for an advance price of $42, which is insane.
Yeah, it's an 8-hour event.
Right. I mean, you can't. That's we just. I think the Gannett newspapers just came out and put us as the #1 thing to do this weekend, and it kind of felt, in all honesty, it felt good because there was some, there was the Caramore Roots Festival was down there. There was Kenny Loggins. There was Natalie Merchant. Like, people have been around, and this is the first time putting this together, and to kind of get the tip of the hat felt it felt good.
Well, as always, you've done an outstanding management of putting this all together, the whole process of it. And if you go to this website, you'll be amazed at how much information is there and how much
hotels,
is
bus
going to get
schedules.
put up on this. It's going to be a great event, and the weather is with us.
Yeah.
Tell us about Jesse Mallon.
Jesse
used to be with the Degeneration.
Yes.
Yeah.
I first met Jim when I had my day job. I used to work at Premier Talent Agency as a kid. So we were representing all the biggest bands in the world, and I stumbled into this job. Thank you, Lord, I somehow got this gig, and all of a sudden I'm working for Tom Petty and U2 and Van Halen and Springsteen. And we also had a lot of cooler bands and smaller artists, the Leonard Cohens, Marianne Faithfull.
He didn't really mean cooler. He meant different.
So
yeah, not really cooler than Tom Petty.
I still remember one day Jesse and Degeneration coming up because they were being courted by agencies,
right.
And they didn't wind up going with Premiere. But I still remember.
Is this before they opened for Kiss? Or
yeah, after? It was right. No, this is the first time, the real initial record deal, and they. I just remember them being because they were really glam, and glam had kind of disappeared. So here was, almost a comeback of it, and then Jesse and I started. I heard. Him doing a cover of Springsteen's Hungry Heart. At the time, Light of Day was putting out a tribute CD, and I told my manager, Bob Benjamin, I said, you should check this out. We should get this on the record. And it wound up getting on the record. And then a few months later, then Bruce was doing Christmas shows in Asbury Park and invited Jesse to play on them, and the E Street Band backed him. So that was the start of our friendship there. And then we've played a lot of Light of Day shows together. We've played in a lot of countries, and Jesse's like the mayor of New York. Seems like everyone knows him from
Coney Island High.
Yes.
On St. Mark's Place,
yes.
And then the Niagara.
Yes.
On 7th.
And now the Bowery Electric. On the Bowery.
Right.
So he's about 4 doors down from the original CBGB.
Right.
Where he cut his teeth as a 13-year-old in a band called Heart Attack, I believe. Mm-hmm. So Jesse's as New York as you get. But it's funny, as we've all been traveling and working on different things, you would think someone with a punk background or the street ethic, but has a heart of gold when it comes to stuff like that. And he's been very kind to my manager, Bob Benjamin, over the years, and they've become good friends. So it's to have him involved. He's kind of a newer friend over the last 10 years.
Right.
Where some people like, Willie Nile I met as the opening act for him at the Turning Point in Piermont in 1992. And he bought me dinner after the show because he knew that the opening acts didn't get paid any money there.
Right,
so that was very kind of him.
A real gentleman. Nothing but really good vibe from Willie. And all these guys. I would like to play another song from
all right, cool.
Joe Dorso and Stone Caravan, Sway. And why don't you let me know what you
I feel like I'm on QVC here. Yes. Yeah. All of a sudden I'm on John Bon Jovi on QVC.
And so which one would we like to hear, Joe?
Let's go with, speaking of Willie, I actually covered a Willie song on this record.
No kidding.
I did a song called One Guitar. It's a great song, one of Willie's greatest, and then he had played it for me right after you wrote it, and I had just released my previous record, Down Here by the River, and I wanted to record it, but I had to wait 3 years till the next, record came around, so myself and the band did it. It's called One Guitar, and it's track number 8.
I've got it on the jukebox now.
The jukebox.
So we're going to play One Guitar by Willie Nile, performed by and on the CD Sway from Joe Dorso and Stone Caravan. Take the camera off.
You're marching in an army, got no gun to shoot. What I got is one guitar. I got this one guitar. It is the middle of the night, right in the middle of the street. It could be uptown, downtown, but I can feel the beat. There is a marching drum, there is a song unsung, It could be your dream, my dream. It's not the only one. I'm a soldier marching in an army. Got no gun to shoot. What I got is one guitar. I got this one guitar. I see the rising smoke. I hear a heartbreak joke. Hey, all my brothers and sisters, I think it's time we spoke. I've only got 6 strings, but like a bell they ring. It's like a jet plane, insane, crashing in my brain. I'm a soldier marching in an army. Got no gun to shoot. What I got is one guitar. I got this one guitar. Here it goes. So if you get knocked down, you gotta take a stand for all the outcasts, dead last, who need a helping hand. So get your tambourine, turn your amps up loud, and raise your voices, voices up above this crowd. I'm a soldier marching in an army. Got no gun to shoot. What I got is one guitar. I got this one guitar. I'm a soldier marching in an army. Got no gun to shoot. What I got is one guitar. I got this one guitar. Here it goes. It goes. It goes. It goes. I'm a soldier marching in an army. Got no gun to shoot. What I got is one guitar. I got this one guitar. I'm a soldier marching in an army. Got no gun to shoot. I got this one guitar. I got this one guitar. Got this one guitar. I got this one guitar.
There you go. All right, that was One Guitar from Joe Dorso and Stone Caravan right here on Rockland World Rodeo. We've been talking to Joe, and you're looking at the website, rocklandmusicfestival.com. You're looking at that because this Sunday, June 29th at 11 o'clock, the gates open to the German Masonic Park down on 120 Western Highway in Tappan, New York. And from this website, you'll get all the information you need to have a great day with your friends and family. Bring them down to this great music event that goes on until 7:30, 8 hours, over 8 hours of great music on 2 stages. And I'm sitting here, like I said, with Joe Dorso, who put this all together. Hello, people. Also, Joe Dorso's Sway from Stone Caravan. And Joe, if you happen to be in Italy this summer, Joe Dorso will be performing in many places, including San Valentino, San Benedetto, Latina.
Rimini. Love Rimini.
And but before he goes there, he will be at this event this Sunday, along with Willie Nile, Jesse Mallon, Marshall Crenshaw, who I actually played with at Snafu.
Did you really?
Yes. One evening back when Snafu on 6th Avenue and 21st, Louis Friedman's place. Great artist that you might not have seen in a while, like Marshall, but he's out there doing it. And Willie Nile, if you haven't experienced Willie Nile, you got to check him out. If you like music and like songs and rock and roll, Willie's the man for you. And Joe Dorso, what time is your set?
My set is spread along the schedule there.
Okay, is that on the website also?
Yes, that is on the website.
There's a complete set performance schedule on rocklandmusicfestival.com.
I will be at 5:30 p.m. So I know we're kicking off on the Glow stage with Tom Chapin at noon, Mickey Mule about 1 o'clock, John Eddy about 2 o'clock, James Maddox 2:45, Jesse Mallon about 3:45, Marshall Crenshaw 4:30. I'm at 5:30. Willie Niles at 6:30. And then the Seeger stage is going to be going nonstop from 11:30 to 6 o'clock. And they'll be changing over every half hour with a different artist and songwriter there.
I'm not quickly counting this like Rain Man, but
22?
22.
Yes.
22 performers on Sunday, June 29th at the German Masonic Park. Music Festival, Rockland-Bergen Music Festival. The website is rocklandmusicfestival.com. JoeDorso.com. Find out all this great stuff. Get in touch with Joe if you want to be sponsor for next year, because next year is probably getting planned already.
Maybe we should try and figure out a way. Again, it's a few people had approached me about broadcasting this year, both with RocklandWorldRadio.com. And the hardest part is that some of these folks with their record labels and management labels, there's so much, and I went through this with the CBGB stuff, there's so much paperwork on licensing and internet and stuff like that, but maybe we can figure out a way, maybe have a feed next year.
Might be able to do that. If you get if someone's carrying a video camera around and wants to put something together, we'll certainly play an after event broadcast.
But we should try and put our brains together on that one, and maybe even just if it's a remote where we're showing snippets of things, not full performances, but just being at the festival too. Something like that.
Maybe at a booth somewhere.
Yeah, that could
would
be something.
Cool.
Yeah,
I could dig that.
Yeah,
it's
some. You think about all these things. I've come up with like 10 really decent ideas. I won't say great ideas, but decent ideas in the last 3 days. Like, I should have done that. And it's just
now that you have it all together, you've got a little space, and now there's the countdown to the first act, and the weather is with you. The bands are all going to be there. Starts at 11 o'clock. Get there a little earlier for this great event. And next time, Joe, we'll talk about some other stuff. We'll continually
I'm sure
play
we'll be
this
back for
music.
Why Hunger?
Why Hunger? But Joe also is involved with CBGBs in the background of putting things together for that entity, which has enormous reach. Of course, with the movie that just recently came out, CBGBs, but we'll get into that at another time. Right now, we just really want to tell you and leave you with this, okay? The Rockland-Bergen Music Festival, presented by Joe Dorso, this Sunday, June 29th at 11 o'clock at the German Masonic Park at 120 Western Highway, Tapan, New York. I'm reading that backwards. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Like Russian. Joe, thanks a lot. Happy birthday once
Always
again.
Always a pleasure, Richard.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you down in Tapan on Sunday, June 29th. I'm going to play another song by Joe Dorso right here.
Thank you.
And it's going to be called Come Down With Me.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, folks.
I'm heading down for a beer. Gonna and or two. Gonna hear what they can do. So it's tonight. Everything gonna be alright. So won't you come down with me tonight? Oh, won't you come with me tonight? I promise it won't be dark, and all the stars will be out tonight. back then. I dreamed of a day like this. Don't care if I sound like a fool. Sometimes it's better not being cool, 'cause I can sing and I can dance. I've loved, been romance. So it's tonight, tonight. Everything gonna be alright. So won't you come down with me tonight? Oh, won't you come with me tonight? I promise it won't be dark, and all the stars will be out tonight. This town was falling apart, but now it's got a brand new start. So won't you come with me tonight? Oh, won't you come with me tonight? I promise it won't be dark. I promise it won't be dark. I promise it won't be dark. And all the stars will be out tonight. Be out tonight. Be out tonight. We'll be out tonight.
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.